Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of my NCAA Football 07 Dynasty Mode series. Here we are in Week 14, the final week of the regular season. Teams have bowl game ambitions, they have championship ambitions. Will they succeed or will they fail? Find out this time on Dragon Ball Z. Wait a minute, wrong series. Anyways, let's go to the BCS rankings. But before we do that, let's go ahead and catch up on those key games from last week. Week in which Northern Illinois barely won against Western Michigan by a final score of 27-20. I wasn't expecting it to be that close. But hey, beggars can't always be choosers in this situation. They secure the perfect 12-0 season. Texas beats Texas A&M by a final score of 39-22, securing their spot in the Big 12 championship against Colorado, a rematch from week number 9, where Texas suffered their only loss to Colorado, in which Colorado got their behinds handed to them by Nebraska. I guess they heard me talking bad about them in the LSU key game where Nebraska did so well last year, but they're not doing so good this year. Here, and Louisiana Tech beats Boise State 38-28. Probably due to that passing attack. Yeah, because their receiver is the key player with 8 receptions, 117 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Oregon wins, and the reason why I say that is because the fact that it plays important to the Pac-10 championship, which I will talk later on in the key games. There's only 3 this week because of there only being a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in total for the week. So I had to shorten it because not all those games really looked all that well. Well, Mickey upsetted San Diego State 44-3. I know I'm not pointing out some of the non-key games that I had from last week, but still some of the upsets. And speaking of upsets, Miami beat Virginia, which put them now in the ACC championship game against Florida State, which I looked and it's a rematch from week number 7, where Florida State barely pulled off the win against Miami. Miami's looking for revenge in Charlotte next week. I'll talk more about that when we get to that one. But one of the other key games from last week, Penn State and Michigan State. Penn State 8 wins, and I thought neither team was going to get over 30. Penn State scored 36. Prove me wrong. Their big game of the week was between Florida and Florida State. Florida barely wins that one, 45-42. I'm only pointing that out because I could have made that one a key game, but some of the stories I have going on are a bit better. Like the San Jose State, I predicted them to win this game. I was hoping they would pull off this game. I was hoping they would get the win, taste victory for the first time since 2006. But instead, they will go ahead and finish off 2008 like they did in 2007 with 0 wins. Sad to see, though, because they had a good passing defense. They had a good passing offense, and they just got obliterated by Idaho, 44-14. I'm a big University of Memphis fan in real life, and glad to see they beat Marshall 29-17. Although Louisville losing to Syracuse, though, that's a little bit of an upset right there because Syracuse is not really known for football, as everybody knows in the sports world. They're more known for their college basketball. But glad to see their virtual football program doing well. Well, West Virginia also secures their 12-0 record. And what I call it the shocker of the season. I thought Michigan losing to Northwestern a few weeks ago would have been the shocker of the season, but no, Michigan's a part of the shocker of the season again, only this time they're the receiving end of the shock, with them upsetting Ohio State 31-26. Next, LSU gets decimated by Arkansas 38-16. Auburn beats Alabama, my bad. Auburn defeats Alabama 31-7. Cal upsets USC, which which brings the Pac-10 race from being USC's possibly to now back being between Arizona State and Oregon, and Oregon has that head-to-head advantage over Arizona State, who barely beat UCLA 22-21. Like, that would have been a real good game to watch right there. Because of how close it was. UCLA could have upset and basically gave Oregon the championship win right there. And now we will go ahead and go to our BCS rankings. Names presented by nothing, because I have no sponsor yet. This man just being a small channel, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Number 1 is McNair Central. As you can see, still number 2 is West Virginia. Number 3 is Penn State. 4 Wisconsin. 5 Arkansas. 6 Auburn. 7 Texas. Just to let you know, that number up in the corner next to the team is where they're ranked in the coaches, not the BCS rankings, but for the first few teams. At number 8, we have Northern Illinois. Number 9, Oklahoma. Arizona State breaks the trend of the teams being in the same position as they are in both the BCS polls and the coaches poll. By being 10th. Florida follows suit at number 11. Ohio State's 12. Then Colorado brings us back to that trend at number 13. Florida State 14. 15 Oregon. 16 Louisiana Tech. Iowa breaks the trend now at number 17, replacing Missouri, who's number 18, so they swap spots. 19 is Minnesota. 20th is Notre Dame. 21st is Tennessee. 22nd is Michigan. 23rd is Navy. 24 is Miami, who has rocked the ACC like a hurricane this year after starting off bad. Like, I forgot how they really started off. I know they lost to me, and number 25 is Boise State. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just mainly trying to kill time, considering the fact that, like I said, I only have 3 games this week for the key games. So, really, I'm just trying to find ways to kill time to get these videos to that 20-minute mark that I normally have for my videos. Like, yeah. They lost to us big, 210-0 at home. Then they went on the road to Florida, lost that one 38-35. Then they barely lost to Texas A&M, 25-24. And then they won against North Texas, so they went into conference play 1-3. Beat NC State, then they decimated Duke. Then they barely lost to Florida State, who they will get again in the ACC championship game. Like I said, I will talk about that next week, because that's when the championship games are. And then they beat Georgia Tech, a team that went to the national championship game last year for the ACC, 18-13. Ooh, ugly score right there. Then they creamed North Carolina 42-14, beat Virginia Tech 28-14, beat Mickey, who was a regular in the key games like Miami, 41-21. And like we said, they just upsetted Virginia at home. Anyway, they upset Virginia on the road. My bad. They beat Virginia. That's all that matters. They're going to be in the ACC championship game. And now let's go to the top 25 polls, where we have, again, number 1, McNair Central. Number 2, West Virginia. 3, Penn State. 4, Wisconsin. Number 5 is Arkansas, which, remember, they were number 5 earlier in the year until they suffered that 5th ranked curse, which I'm wondering if that 5th ranked curse back, because Ohio State was 5th when they went up against Michigan. Did the curse make a one-off appearance? I don't know. I'm definitely going to keep track of that for next season, or when Arkansas plays in their bowl game. Nothing like a good cup of coffee. Number 6 is Auburn, who will be playing the SEC championship game because they beat Arkansas back when Arkansas was, like we said, the 5th ranked team earlier in the year. Number 7 is Texas, looking forward to Colorado. Northern Illinois is number 8, looking forward to Bowling Green. Oklahoma is number 9, and sadly, due to Texas beating Texas A&M, they will not be going to the Big 12 championship game. They will not pass go. They will not collect $200 until they get to I think they're projected right now for the last time I checked, the Fiesta Bowl. Let's take a little pause in the action and see where Oklahoma is projected to go to in the bowl games. Oklahoma. Oh no, they're projected to go to the Cotton Bowl against Tennessee, who faced off against Texas, and that was the original Cotton Bowl matchup I remember seeing. But I guess since Texas, yeah, Texas Big 12 leader. Oh, Texas and Arkansas. Oh, and Auburn and Northern Illinois. Oh, that's gonna be a good game right there. Like I said, I'm gonna predict every single bowl game, including my national championship game, which I will give myself some leeway on that one because of the fact that, like I said, I normally don't talk about McNary Central on this channel because of the fact that I control them, and I prefer to focus on all the other big storylines around the nation in this game. Meanwhile, number 10 is Ohio State. You see, they were number 5. They were number 5. They lost. I'm wondering if the curse has made a one-off appearance. Number 11 is Arizona State, 12th Florida, 13 Colorado, 14 Florida State, 15th is Oregon, 16th good old Louisiana Tech, 17th is Missouri. Very the second or third, yeah, I think the second Tigers team to be on this list, yeah. Yep, second Tigers team on the list, Missouri. Number 18, Iowa, who has the team name of one of the Avengers, the Hawkeyes. 19, Tennessee. Did they volunteer to be 19th? Because I'm pretty sure they would have volunteered to be number 1. 20 is Minnesota. The Gophers are looking golden so far this year. They could have had a chance to win the Big Ten championship, though. Oh, and number 21 is Notre Dame. They are on probation from whatever they decided to do for recruiting, which was bad, or they didn't suspend people as good as they should have. Number 22 is the Navy. Navy sailing into that position after being unranked for most of the year. Michigan back to being ranked after being Ohio State. Miami sliding in at number 24 after wrecking Virginia's championship plans. And falling down to number 25 after their shocking loss to California is USC. The Bears looked golden last week against them, and the Trojans did not have good enough protection. Meanwhile, the media says that McNary Central should be number 1, just like the coaches. West Virginia should be number 2, just like the coaches. Penn State should be number 3, just like the coaches. Number 4, just like the coaches, Wisconsin. But they say, oh, no. Well, Arkansas should not be number 5. They were already number 5. We say Texas. And Northern Illinois should be number 6. Auburn should be number 7. Arkansas should be number 8. Number 9 should be Arizona State. 10, Oklahoma. 11, Florida. 12, Ohio State, even though they were number 6 in the media poll. 13 should be Colorado, so they agree with the coaches on that one. 14th should be Oregon. 15th should be Florida State. They agree with the coaches with Louisiana Tech. So they say 17th is Iowa. They must be a real fan of Hawkeye. 18th should be Notre Dame. 19th, Missouri. 20th, Minnesota, so they agree with the coaches on that one. 21st, Tennessee. Did they volunteer Tennessee to be 21st? First, number 22, Michigan, another Marvel character in the Wolverines. I forget if Iowa and Michigan on that one. It'd be the X-Men versus the Avengers. They say number 23 should be Navy. Yeah, it must be more of Army fans in there. Number 24, they agree with the coaches in Miami, but they say no. Number 25 should be Nebraska, because they upset Colorado. And we will now go to what I always like to call my favorite part of this series, in the good old rankings of the bottom 10. Dun dun dun. But before that, get a cup of homemade coffee. And number 1, San Jose State. For continuing their losing streak, they are now at 18 in a row. And sadly, they're going against Louisville, which will make it 19 in a row. Like I told y'all, the record for the most consecutive losses is 34 by Northwestern. I wish they could end that streak soon, because it is a good story on one hand, but at the same time, I'd like to see them turn around eventually. And number 2 is Kansas. They have a win, but in the end, that's all they got. All the fans gotta hope for is how well the basketball team does. That's about it. And number 3 is the team I've kind of been ragging on all year long, is Boston College. Ball State is currently in the position that they were in last year, 4-8 and about to make a bowl game as an at-large, which I highly question. And number 4, we have BYU because, well, they're a 2-win team. I think they probably would have actually done better than 2 wins. Personally, I think they would have probably had 4. I think I actually have Steve Young being their head coach, which at the beginning of this dynasty, I went through and named every single head coach. So, yep, they have the legendary Steve Young on BYU, great. Great. San Francisco 49er, great. Hall of Famer Joe, successor to Joe Montana, and helped San Francisco keep their dynasty going. Just not making a good coach. Just like quarterback, and just like the coach of Purdue, Drew Brees, at the number 5 spot. I mean, yeah, sure, in real life he is still in the NFL, but, I like this universe where Purdue has hired Drew Brees, their greatest player to come out of that school, to coach the team. At number 6, I have Middle Tennessee State, because they're in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt. As I'll explain to y'all later when I'm going through and telling y'all who all are going to be the champions of each conference, or who's going to be playing the conference championship games next year. They're in one of the easiest conferences in the entire game, and yet they can only muster up 2 total wins, 1 in conference. It's kind of sad. I've got Indiana at number 7 because they went winless in the conference. They got one more game though against FIU. If they lose that one though, I'm probably gonna have to bump them up a spot or 2 in this because FIU is part of the Sun Belt, so basically same conference that Middle Tennessee State's in. At number 8, I put the Army because 2-8 is definitely a bad record, especially when you get to choose who you get to face as an independent. Like literally, you get to go the entire year just selecting whoever you want to face. Well, except for them, they got to play Army and Air Force every year for the battle for the Commander-in-Chief trophy. At number 9, I put Idaho. I would have had them lower or higher on this list. Whatever order it would go since it's the bottom 10. Would it be lower, higher? Y'all tell me. But they beat San Jose State, so they kind of went up a bit. And number 10, I put a team that was, since we are in the Conference Championship Week mood, I put Marshall because they were in the Conference USA Championship game last year. And they just fell off big time this year. You're going 3-9, and as I told you, losing to Memphis. So, not the best of weeks for them. But since we are talking about the conference championships, let's go ahead and see who all will be facing off in conference championships. We got Florida State going against Miami in the ACC championship because of Miami's win over Virginia. Penn State or Wisconsin they have a tie for the conference championship game. I'd give it to Penn State. I personally just call it a tie. Big 12 championship game we got between Colorado and Texas, a Week 9 rematch. West Virginia easily going to win the Big East. Conference championship games between UCF and Tulane, which Tulane, I gotta admit with them, I don't know what I think of them. They started off, they went non-conference 0-4. They go into conference play and they just decide to turn it up then. Which, hey, better turn on in conference play than non-conference play, I guess. Houston did not as good as a lot of people would probably project because they're a 3-star school in the Conference USA. and they went 6-6. I mean, UCF went 6-6, but they at least had a winning record in the conference. Southern Miss 5-7, also a 3-star school. Like a lot of these programs are, yeah. And you see Marshall 3-9, 3-star program. No conference champion for the Independents. The MAC will be determined between Bowling Green and Northern Illinois. Mountain West is San Diego State. Pac-10 is between Oregon and Arizona State, which I will talk about these two teams a bit more in our key games coming up. And the SEC championship will be between Florida and Auburn. If Arkansas and Tennessee would have won their matchups earlier in the year, we could have Tennessee and Arkansas. But they didn't. And Florida Atlantic is going to win the Sun Belt. And as you can see, you see Florida International, FIU, 2-star school, 8-3. Like, you see a lot of these Sun Belt schools, they are actually doing pretty well. And you see only 3 of them actually ended with a losing conference record. And your WAC champion is Louisiana Tech. It's just always still had 4 undefeated teams. And now let us get into our key games of the week. Presented by, again, nothing because I have no sponsors. We will start off with Army and Navy. The 2 oldest military branches go head-to-head in their annual rivalry game. 1 month after Veterans Day in this universe, well, about 1 month after Veterans Day, in which, after 3 days after Veterans Day, Army beat the Air Force. The midshipmen are looking for an easy win because you see second best rushing attack in the nation. As you can see, one of the worst passing attacks in the nation. But who needs to pass the ball when you can just run it down their throat? Run it down left, run it down right, run it up the middle. You know, over them, under them, through them. Like, they probably could just throw the person in the air and it still count as running the ball. But the Black Knights and Army aren't gonna go down easily. They'll be looking for war. They are going to go to war against Navy. Keep that running attack at bay. All granted with y'all allowing 108 rushing yards a game compared to Navy having over 200 yards a game. I'd say you need to practice a bit weak on that. Then again, we're over here talking about practice, so let's see how that goes. But I do say Navy will sail away with the victory this week and continue on with an 11-1 record. And now we go from 2 military branches to the Civil War. Oh no, not the Civil War between the Union and the Confederates. I'm just talking about Oregon and Oregon State. You know, that Civil War, the rivalry game between these two. Oregon has regained the Pac-10 lead due to USC losing to Cal, which Oregon lost to USC. So USC had the lead because even though they lost to Arizona State, they beat Oregon, which then led to USC being in contention with Arizona State, and hoped Arizona State would have to lose another game to win the Pac-10 championship. But since they lost to Cal, that means Oregon has regained the lead because their only loss was to USC, but since USC has 2 losses, they no longer have it now. Oregon State has other plans, though, as the Beavers do hope to stop the Ducks' plan, but defensively, like stat-wise, I don't see it happening. And they want to upset Oregon and cause Arizona State to win the championship. Yep. But stat-wise, I don't see it happening. Overall-wise, it could happen, though. I think this one's going to be a lot closer than people think. And Oregon, I say, will actually come out on top and claim the Pac-10 championship. Yep. And the final game of the week. The final game of the year between Arizona State and Arizona. Arizona State's in a peculiar position here. as they need to win this game and hope that Oregon State upsets Oregon and to win Pac-10. But if if either Arizona State loses or Oregon or just simply Oregon wins, the Ducks win the championship. Arizona don't care about what Arizona State needs. They're coming into this game hoping to slow down them, to hope and slow them down, to hopefully upset them, to hopefully end their 6-game win streak. I think this one's going to be another close game, but I do think Arizona State's going to pull off the win, but I think it's going to be too little, too late for the Pac-10, to the defending Pac-10 champions. Now, like I said, now USC and UCLA, like that would have been a nice game to try to call, but USC is now out of the running, and as you can see, that is the we got an afternoon game, like starts right after the Army Navy game, but ooh, that's gonna mean I can just see how these two games go. But that is it for this week, and I will go ahead and show you my recruiting a bit. I only have got 2 people: middle linebacker Kerry Olson and strong safety Chris Richard, which, to be honest, I really needed that strong safety, because I will go and show you my roster real quick. And at the strong safety position, yes, we do have Lincoln, 99 everything, but he's a junior. He might want to go to the draft next year. And we got 2 redshirt seniors. I need strong safeties, so I really needed him, which will really help me out for next year. And like I said, when it comes to the bowl games, and like I said, Ball State is in the same position that, they're up against Miami University, which actually this is a MAC rematch by the looks of it between the two. Since I'm killing time here, we're going to go ahead and look at some of these conference matchups. Yeah, that would be a rematch from week 4 in which Ball State beat Miami, so it'd be interesting if they actually do put that there. And also, let's see, for Northern Illinois, well, for Bowling Green, did they go up against Northern Illinois earlier in the year? Yes, they did, and they lost 31-17, so we got a week 4 rematch, a week 7 rematch, and a week 9 rematch so far for the conference championships. Florida and Auburn never faced off, I don't think. Yeah, by the looks of it, yeah, they never faced off against each other, so we have one fresh matchup. And with the last one between Tulane and UCF. Yeah, I'm curious about South Carolina though. Like, they were undefeated when they went up against us, and then they lost to Ole Miss, lost to Tennessee, bounced back with Kentucky, but then lost to LSU, won against Vandy, had a bye week to recuperate, lost to Arkansas, lost to Florida, but beat Hawaii. Like, they were 3-0 before our contest, and after our contest, they went 3-5 after our contest. Yeah, you see, Tulane lost to Louisiana Lafayette, Troy, Hawaii, and Missouri. But they'd be going against UCF. Did they ever go against UCF? No. So we have 2 fresh matchups for conference play. But that will be it for me, and I will see you all next time.